Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Coach Jay with the FGC Simplified Community. And today we have another episode of Award Street, where we talk to community members that are part of the FGC Simplified family who have gone on to win federal government contracts implementing our simplified system called the Flow. So we are just going to have a casual conversation to talk about what their journey was like and what it's like using the Flow system so you can make a decision if you want to be part of our community or not. All right, let's go. All right, y'all. So listen, I have one of my girls. Well, let me make sure I can say this right. Yeah, one of my favorites. One of the girls from my community. I got her on the stage. Let me bring her onto the stage so she can introduce herself and let her know what's up. How you doing, Miss Christy?
I'm really well. I'm doing great.
Listen, I thank you so much for taking the time to come on to speak with me and also to share your story, so we can somewhat inspire and impress upon others, how this process is. So go ahead and introduce yourself for people that may not know who you are and all that. Let them know about you.
Well, my name is Christy, and I'm a life coach, but I've also been interested in government contracting for a very long time. That's how I met Coach Jay. And be like, Coach, where do you want me to begin with you want me to start with the beginning of my journey of government contracting? Or?
Listen, this stage is you. We want to know about you. We want to know about your journey and all that. So let's start with you first. Let's start about you.
So, and I'm also a boy mom, so I have three, teenage boys, and
okay.
I've always been trying to find a way to, leave the 9-to-5 grind. And my thing wasn't necessarily so much financial freedom. I really wanted to be, have time freedom and location freedom,
okay.
while I'm building my financial freedom pillars. And I think government contracting, I was so attracted to it when I first heard about it that I was like, okay, this is something that I could do. That's how, because I first heard about it. I maybe first heard about government contracting maybe 5 years ago. Maybe like 5 years ago, but I didn't get started right away. I didn't just jump in right away. I was just like, I didn't really quite understand it at that point of it. I heard of the middleman strategy and things like that, and then I just kind of put it to the back burner and worked on some other things. I wound up getting certified as a life coach, but then it kept coming back up. It kept coming back up on my social media feed, and I'm a dibbler and dabbler, right? I know there's people out there who are dibbler and dabbler, so I want to be transparent and show that I like to do a multitude of things, but I can honestly say that government contracting is a thing that I did stick with. So I was going to go into truck dispatching. Because the reason why I was going to go into truck dispatching is because, the concept was proven to me. I have, two brothers that's been in transportation. One of my brothers has a really successful, trucking business here out of Houston, and another one was doing emergency transport. And so they was very successful, and they was making really good money. So that's kind of why I was choosing to go into that lane. And I wound up taking a course, getting my LLC to start my truck dispatching company. But after the course, I just realized that didn't line up and resonate with me after I started to learn a little bit more about the nuts and the bolts. And so while I was taking that course, the government contracting kept coming back in my feed, and people were talking about it. I said, well, since I have my LLC, I might as well register for sam.gov and get my case code. So I did that. And while I was in the process of doing that, I had taken a few workshops, and I took your 3-day workshop too as well.
Okay.
And I resonated with you so much because since I'm a dibbler and dabbler, I probably took 1 million and some courses just dibbling. I'm gonna try digital marketing. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So,
listen, I would be ashamed. I tried them all. I tried drop shipping. I tried Amazon FBA, because most of us are trying, they want to either, generate more revenue so we can have choices to get out of this rat race.
Yes. I tried something. I even have a children's book on Amazon. I don't think I've ever told you.
let's.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
because
go check it out.
I've tried a number of things, and so, but when I've been in a number of courses, and so when
Mhm.
I took your course, I was like, oh, this is the real deal. This is a real teacher, and not just a marketer, right? Like not just someone who
Right.
gathered the information, organized the information well, and put it in a course. Like this was a real person that I could talk to, that I could vibe with, that I could resonate with. Because at that point in time, I did know enough that my follow through was lacking. Like that was one of my biggest weaknesses in every endeavor that I tried, was the follow through and the consistency was lacking. And I did know I needed to interface with someone to help me with that accountability, to stay focused, to stay, consistent, and to follow through.
Okay. So let's jump back. You said you got introduced to it 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember your introduction?
I heard it was like Jason White was on either podcast or radio. I can't remember. I don't think it was the Breakfast Club, but it was something like that. And he was talking about it, and I kind of had it like in the background. That was the first time that I heard about it, and I did resonate with him because he's like one of my cousins. I was just like, okay, if this guy can do it, I could do that. And with the industry that I was in, I've been in mortgage for a long time. So with the industry that I was in, and I always played a support role, I was like, well, I have a skill set to do that. I could do what he was talking about. And then the way he made it so relatable, like down to earth and layman's language, but I just didn't get started right away. I just didn't take it to it.
Okay. So you got introduced to it. You realized that, listen, I might have some skill set, and I'm speaking to those that are out there. There are many skill set that you have right now that are transferable when it comes to the federal government contracting space. So you got introduced to it. You realized that you had some of the skill set, but what made you take action to actually jump in?
What made me take action is when I took your workshop. Because you kind of had like an introductory workshop to the 3-day workshop. So I took both of them. And that's when I started to take action. Right? That's when I was like, okay, I can do this. This is definitely doable.
Yeah. So when I first got started, I used to do my webinars to let people know, hey, these are the basic things you need in order to get started in this space. You don't need any fancy equipment or anything like that. You need to get started. So my question to you, do you have any other experience? Because you said that you took my workshop. Did you take anybody else's workshop?
I took Wes's workshop.
We don't have to call names. We don't have to call names.
I took a few other workshops before that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And one of the questions that I get all the time, and maybe you could speak to this to let people know, some people, and I won't call names, we'll keep it PG.
Okay.
Some people try to make it as difficult as possible and convoluted so you can need them in order for them to do it for you. So I've had people come to me, book one-on-one calls, and they think that they have to have website, they have to have logo and all of that. Were you in the same boat thinking that you need to have all of this?
Yeah, I did think that I needed to, because coming from the corporate space, I was thinking I needed a building. I was thinking I needed a lot of things that I didn't need. I had everything I needed, but I thought I was going to have more infrastructure than that. I was going to have to set up kind of like a brick and mortar business. I was going to need an office and all of that. And I didn't, right? But that's what I thought.
Right. So you realized that you didn't need all of that. You attended the workshop. Question, did you take action right away after the workshop?
This halfway. My action was more so of I could do the search, I could do everything. One of the things that I got stuck on was calling. It wasn't that I couldn't take the action, but I was intimidated by taking the action of calling subcontractors.
Can you self-reflect, seeing that you're a life coach?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you self-reflect? Because I know that that's one of the hurdles, and that's the reason why we structure our community and our system the way that we are. Why do you think that was a hurdle? And because other people believe that they have that hurdle too. And what was your action to take to overcome it?
Well, I as a life coach, I did do a lot of self-reflection. One of my hurdles was that I did have to work on a limiting belief, and I did do some work around that. But another thing was momentum and speed, because since I was overthinking the process, and I think that added to fuel to that limiting belief. But I was overthinking the process, making it more complicated than it had to be. Thinking that these subcontractors, were going to want more from me than what I knew at the time, which that was not in the case. I had to definitely check myself, because I was making up things that weren't happening. And I'm saying this as a life coach, right? Like, I really had these irrational fears that were not based, in any type of reality. It was a lot easier making phone calls, talking to people, than what I was making it out to be. So one thing I did do, because I fell into that trap of, I need a script, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I need a script. I need to read off a script. I need to know everything about the solicitation, which that was causing more and more irrational fear. I know that sounds crazy, but the more that I was trying to avoid it, the more that I was trying to, study it, outsmart it. I know it sounds crazy. The more of the fear that was coming up. And so I just finally had to say, this is a part of the process, and I'm just making it too hard. And so once I was able to do that and start making phone calls based off of the system, that's another thing. I should have brought that up. And that's probably was the whole problem, is that I was trying to make the system more than what it was. And so once I started following the system, like, can I talk about the system now? No.
You sure can. Listen.
I started following the flow system, and I got to the step in the system of making the calls out to the subcontractors and just doing it the way that it was designed, and not trying to jump to this part of it. Before, it became seamless, and it's really easy now. And what's funny is, because I'm one of the ones who would rather email. Let me submit the quote online. And you would just say, pick up the phone, you know what I mean? And now I enjoy picking up the phone. And I don't know if it's too early to talk about like this part, because I was doing this as well. I said, I'm going to go get me a virtual assistant. I don't think you do that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to get me a virtual assistant, and she can make the phone calls for me, and I don't even have to worry about it. That was such a waste of time, money, and effort. I mean, it slowed me down. So I think that was one of the things that kind of, at one point when I was discouraged, that was one of the traps that I fell into. And the reason why I kind of got discouraged, because it slowed me down so much. Doing stuff you told me not to do. Doing stuff. And it was just like, now pick up the phone, calling subcontractors. I'm like, why was I making it so difficult? Why was I thinking, I need this script, and rather than just having a phone call with one human to the, this wasn't a sales call. I don't even know why I was like, I can't make cold calls, because it's not a cold call.
It's not. Right.
It's a service call. Hey, I need this service done. That's it. I was just like, what was I doing?
I like that. I might have to implement that.
Yeah.
It's not a sales call. It's a service call.
It's a service call.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you would teach is, like, you're the homeowner. You need a service done. You need somebody to come and cut the grass. You pick up the phone and you call them and say, hey, I need somebody to come cut the grass. But I was making it a cold call. I was making it a sales call. And I think that it's possible that other people are doing that too. Like, they kind of have it a little mixed around in their head, that it's actually a service call.
Yeah. So that's one of the limiting beliefs that me as a coach that I have to overcome when somebody is new to this space, because they falsely believe that it's a sales call. I'm calling and I'm trying to get something from these subcontractors or from these small business. But once you rearrange it in your mind and you understand that, listen, I am bringing business to that local business or to that subcontractor, they are more than willing to work with you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And some of
but
these people I still text, and it's not even about a contract or anything. We just text hello and, just networking, right? Like
build rapport. Yeah,
networking with people.
yeah. And if people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and it's hard to build that relationship if you're just emailing and all that. Now, email and stuff has its place, but that should not be your primary motivating tool that you're using in order to build relationship with them. Because, we specialize in the middleman strategy, and the middleman strategy, there is still work that we need to do. And we just don't do the physical work, but the work that we do is building rapport with that small business, with that subcontractor, because ultimately they're the ones that's out there representing you and your business that's performing the work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's one of the things that when I went out there to source the virtual assistant, and I do remember you saying that on one of the accountability calls, that you can't teach someone to build rapport. And I wanted to say that because you truly cannot teach them to build the rapport. No one is going to be able to do that but you.
Yeah. Okay. So walk us through your journey. So you decided to put raisins in the gumbo, and you got a VA assistant. You were hesitant to call. Tell us about the shift. Once you realize the error of your ways, tell us about the shift. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really want to say, like, when I got back plugged into the system. So around May of 2023, that's when I got my case code and started coming to the accountability calls. And I was doing all the stuff I wasn't supposed to do, wind up getting discouraged and wasn't quite as plugged in as I needed to be. So once I recommitted and plugged back in, the journey didn't take that long at all. Like I even had to laugh at myself about how hard I was making it, because it was this month, September. So I know we had a particular September goal. I kind of was a little shy of the goal and didn't quite hit it, but that's when I won my first award.
No.
It's like when I literally, I could say when we started that our September goal, that's when I won, because that's when I was plugged in. I was doing the system exactly the way it was designed. And this is the other cool thing, right? Because I have a job.
Yes.
I literally was done with GovCon an hour in a day. Like, I wasn't spending no more than an hour in the day. And I was doing, miscellaneous, admin tasks, responding to an email later on that evening. But I was even looking at the clock like, man, this is that easy. It's really that easy. So, yeah, I think once I started just doing the system the way it was designed to be done, everything was done. Like, it was like, wow, so, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I tell everyone, most of the people that's inside of the community either have a 9-to-5 they run on the front end, or they have a small business that they operate. You can do federal government contracting around whatever you have, because everybody has a different work-life balance. Most people do this. And again, if you have the system and follow the flow, you can do this in a couple hours of the day. The longest and most extenuating part of this whole process is just waiting for the quotes to come back in. That's outside of your control. But once you have that, this entire process can go by like this, once you have this system.
And so the one I won was the one I wasn't even thinking about it when it came across my email. Like,
tell us
I was like, what? That one?
So tell us a little bit about it. What is it for and all that? You don't have to go into the numbers and all that.
Okay. Yeah, this was a tree removal to be done out in West Virginia. At a lake out in West Virginia, and I did reach out to a number of subcontractors, but I only got one quote back, and I just went with that one quote, threw my money on top of that, and then submit. I really just said it and let it, and it was just like, I honestly forgot about it once the contracting officer sent me back the email, I really was like, what? When did I send that one? You know what I mean? Like, I really my momentum was going. It was like, just keep the momentum going, just submit, and don't worry about the rest of it, So yeah, it was really, and even being on this side of the award, and I'm still like learning how to manage my own mindset, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to not make any of it hard.
Okay, so let's give context for people that are watching. You're currently in what state?
We're right now, I'm waiting for my site safety
No.
plan.
What state you live in?
Oh, I'm in Texas.
You're in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The award you won is where?
In West Virginia.
Have you ever been to West Virginia? Have you ever been out there?
I don't even think they have. It's so remote. No, I've never been there. I've never been there.
That's one of the things that people say all the time. I need to go out. What if I have to go out and take a look at it? And I express to them that out of all the contracts that I have won, I have never been to the location. If you ask me where it's at on a map, I'll be like, no.
Yeah.
And you said that you won tree removal. Do you have a tree removal company?
I don't even know. I don't know nothing about that.
Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands, Christy. You don't look like you ever cut a tree down in your life.
Never, ever. Like, why would I do that? Like, I know nothing about it. Nothing.
Yeah. See, and this is the beauty of doing the middleman strategy.
Yes.
Listen, I know that you're enjoying this episode. Make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel and share this with somebody else who's wanting to actually take part and get into federal government contracting. But I wanted to interject real quick to let you know about our upcoming workshop that's coming up this month. Make sure that you register so you can be in the room, and I will be teaching our system called the Flow. We'll be walking you through the entire process, how you can implement it in your day-to-day life so you can be a federal government contractor too and win federal government contract as what you see going on here. So make sure and tap in. The link will be down in the description. I'll pin to the show notes. Make sure you register early to get your seat in the door. All right, let's get back to the episode. The middleman strategy, it doesn't matter what the federal government wants or need or where they want it at. We being in the position that we are at, we can supply the federal government with whatever it is that they're asking for. So, you know that there is a bunch of naysayers and people out there that say that it's difficult, saying that it's illegal and all of that. And that's the reason why we bring and we, thank you for sharing your information so people could see that it is that simple, it is possible, and anybody can actually do this.
Yes.
All right.
You really can.
So what advice would you give for those that are still on the fence, hesitating to either, jump in and get started, or they're going down the, research to do more research to do research? What advice would you give to somebody that's come across this video?
I would just tell them, know enough about government contracting, even if that's all you heard was government contracting. You have enough to get started. And to get started today, don't wait. There's no perfect time to get started. There's no season to get started. Go ahead and get started.
That's it. And the longer you take, the more, because if you go down the rabbit hole, you'll hear somebody say this, somebody say that. Just take action and see for yourself. All right?
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
If you want to let people know about the community too as well, and most people that try to get into this federal government contracting space, and it doesn't really have to do federal government contracting or to do anything new. We always try to do it ourselves, and we take the longer route, and we learn from mistakes and bumping our head. What would you say for someone that's looking for a community or anything? You could talk a little bit about the community. We could brag on it already. So
yes, I love the community. And I just want to talk about the benefits that I receive from the community. One is accountability. one thing that I shared this with a number of people. I was like, even when I go MIA, coach is consistent. I know that space is going to be there, and not only is coach is going to come get you too, but but that space is going to be there, and you'll have something that you'll be able to see that's going to be consistent, that's going to keep you focused, that's going to keep you energized, and you'll be able to connect with other people that's doing the same thing that you are doing. So the community is so important to me, whether, you know, you're checking in on me or there's other community members, you know, checking in on me and say, hey, Chris, where you at? You know, so it just helps to keep me focused. And I know sometimes we truly feel, whether it's a limiting belief or not, that we have to do things alone. And you may have to do certain things alone to a certain point, but you don't always have to be alone on this journey, because sometimes it can get taxing, it can get lonely, and it's just going to energize you to be a part of an amazing group, an amazing community that's going to keep you going. Because sometimes government contract can get a little mundane, a little boring, because that's how easy it is. Like, it's so easy that you want to be able to tap in and tune in and stay connected to other people that's doing it.
That's right. That's right. So I know I'll get the comments and all that. So what I like to describe, because I know people come on here and try to count pockets. So, and I say it all the time, it's not about the dollar value. It's by learning a skill set that you can apply over and over again, because the sky's the limit now. Now that you see and you have proof of concept that the process works, you have the flow system that you can apply over and over again. Now the sky's the limit. But what was the total value of the contract that you won?
The total value of the tree removal contract was $4,400.
$4,400. And all you did was send an email and connected the two.
I know, that's what's so wild. I can't even see. I was just like, I can't believe they paying me for that. Like, I mean, honestly, like, and you know, the backdrop of everything that's going on. And one thing I've noticed that GovCon has done for me, I'm more patriotic. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm able to understand how this country moves. And even when I see, you know, people doing work on the ditches and the roadways and all of that, like, I have a part and I have a play in that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a certain level of ownership and pride that I have, if that makes sense. So it's the wildest, coolest thing. And I know I see a lot of people out there, they want something to really do from home, something real. This is not a hustle. This is a real business. And the only barrier of entry to it is the time that you're willing to put towards it.
Right. So I love that you're a life coach and all that, and people that are going to come across this video, I'm gonna give you some time. I want to know how people could reach out to you. Again, if they want life coaching and all that. So tell people a little bit about your life coaching business, how they can reach out to you, how they can book. Let me know. Let us know.
Yeah, sure. Yes, you can reach me. You can send me an email to yourgovconbestie@gmail.com. And I just want to share a little bit about my life coaching. I do business coaching for women. That's my target audience. And what I help women to do is I help them to shift into the identity that they need to have in order to be successful in business, whether it's government contracting or digital marketing. I help you become that person so you don't feel like an imposter.
There you go. We couldn't say it any better. So Ms. Christy, I'm gonna have your information down in the description of the video. So anybody that wants to reach out to you can book, you know, sessions or anything with you. Thank you so much for sharing your story and encouraging others who might have felt the way you have felt in the past, you know, that you had to go MIA for a little bit and coach had to come find you. But still, you know, that's the beauty of having community around you. You are not doing this alone. And the easiest way to get to a destination you've never been before is to just follow a path that someone else has curved out for you, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you so much. So, Christy, thank you so much for joining us. And listen, if you all want more information about the community, all the information will be down in the description of this video.